At 12:01 a.m. this Sunday, New York legalizes gay marriage, making it the sixth state in the nation to do so. There are now more than 50,000 legally married same-sex couples in the country, but the federal government still doesn't recognize a single one of those unions. Why? Because of DOMA, the Defense of Marriage Act. This law denies legally married same-sex couples the same rights enjoyed by other married couples. President Obama is now supporting a repeal of this law. And today a Senate panel heard witnesses describe DOMA's terrible effects.
4 months ago, Tom Carolla, my husband and partner of 58 years, died of leukemia. And beyond the emptiness caused by the loss of the man I've spent my entire adult life with, my life has been thrown into financial turmoil because of DOMA. As you know, for married couples in this country, Social Security allows a widow or a widower to either claim their own benefit or the benefit amount of their deceased spouse, whichever is highest. Yet I could not depend on this benefit after 58 years with my spouse, simply because of DOMA. This is unfair. This is unjust.
So are we at a turning point in this debate? Will the federal government finally recognize the validity of same-sex marriages? Joining me now is Dean Hara. He is one of those advocating. He's a partner of the first openly gay Congressman, Jerry Studs, who unexpectedly passed away and now says he's been discriminated against because of DOMA. He is one of 17 plaintiffs in Massachusetts suing to challenge the constitutionality of DOMA. And also joining us is MSNBC political analyst Richard Wolffe. Let me start with you, Dean. Tell us what you have gone through and why you're a plaintiff in this lawsuit.
Thank you for having me tonight. I think the testimony on the Hill today in the Senate shows how the Defense of Marriage Act hurts families. 15 years ago, when I sat in the visitors gallery at the House of Representatives and watched the man who is to become my husband speak out against it, it was very theoretical. I don't think Gary or I ever expected at that point that we'd ever be able to be legally married anywhere within the United States. It did happen 8 years later, and we got married a week after marriage was legalized in the Commonwealth of Massachusetts. It was the decision that the courts made, but obviously the people have also now agreed with it. I am being denied the benefits that any other person who has served this government for 24 years as a federal employee, in Gary's instance, a member of Congress, spousal benefits and health insurance. The same people are talking about the same issues 15 years ago, except now there are real families and real people like myself being hurt.
Well, yeah, you put a face on it as you do and as the witness today that we saw. Richard, a lot of attitudes have changed. Let's look at the polls and how it has gone. In 1996, 27% of those polls favored people same-sex marriage, and today 53%. It's been a real shift. Over 50% of those polls are now saying people have the right to make their own choice in marriage.
Right, Reverend Al, a lot of that switchover has actually just happened in the last couple of years. What's ironic is that what we've seen as the scare tactics from the Republican side have not come to pass, and in fact it's been more reassuring for general voters and Americans across the country to see more same-sex marriage. So it's become less threatening. I remember back in 2004 there was all that talk about having anti-same-sex marriage initiatives on ballots around the state. For a start, from people like Karl Rove, the idea was this would boost turnout. People look back on 2004, they found no increase in turnout, and instead of pictures shocking voters into reacting against same-sex marriage, we've seen actually the reverse. They've become more reassured. There's only one group of voters that still overwhelmingly reject same-sex marriage, and that's Republicans. Democrats, independents are around that 55% mark in support.
Dean, let me go back to you. This is not an issue about whether someone agrees or disagrees, a moral position, a religious position. This is where you legally in a state married built things together, shared things together, but it's denied you like any other married couple because of this federal law, and you are in fact financially and otherwise impacted by this law on something you legally did and built together.
I think that if we look at the definition of family, first of all, I think we need to, unfortunately, they don't even want to accept that two people who want to spend their life together, be it 15 years in my instance or 50 years, that there's any validity. But as families, yes, we look at many decisions from the financial aspect of it. And because of the Defense of Marriage Act and because the impact of federal law on many aspects of finance, you're kind of starting at a disadvantage, and it becomes very evident that the government sees you as a second-class citizen and that you know firsthand what discrimination is like, because somebody else, but for the fact that you're of the same sex, would have a much different situation.
Dean Hara and Richard Wolffe, thank both of you for your time this evening.
Thank you.